This is a 1976 FJ40. This truck was redone, I'd say 5 or 6 years ago, completely. It's been painted, new wheels from Toyota, new hubcaps. Those are brand new. The tires have about maybe 1,000 miles on them. They're all BFG mud terrains. You can see it has a spare tire holder, cooler, light guards. Also has front bumper by the same company. Company's 4+. They're made out of Arizona. Has a Warren 8270/450. Basically brand new. I think I've spooled it out a couple of times. I spooled it out to put the string on it versus the cable. That's about it. Power steering, you can see there. All the cables are run nice. Battery tenders pre-wired in. So all you got to do is plug it in, and it charges the battery when you're not using it. Rigid industry lights, all on the outside. I'm gonna set the camera down for 1 second. Under the hood is a GM Performance, is a ramjet fuel injected engine, so it's not carbureted. It is fuel injected. This is a crate engine. It's not out of something, so this engine has about, I'd say, 4,000 to 5,000 miles on it, somewhere in that area. I can't remember exactly what the mileage we put it in. All the wiring that you'll see for all the auxiliary stuff is all done here with a separate fuse box, separate relays, because I didn't want to tap into the original harness and make it worse. So that you'll see some of the wiring here is all run up in here. Nothing's really connected into the factory harness. It's all two harnesses, if you will, just to preserve the originality of the other harness, the original harness. I relocated the battery over here just for ease of use. You could put a bigger battery in there. Previous owner had something different in there. You can see it has ARBs, front and rear. It also has the auxiliary port to plug in auxiliary air if you need to. The winch is wirelessly controlled. It has the Warren controller there to wirelessly control that. The front axle is all chromoly. It has the chromoly outers all to work with the hubs. So that's all chromoly in there, and those are long fields. So they're great axles. You can see it has the Old Man Emu suspension, Bilstein shocks. It has the flip over kit for the U-bolts. That's also by 4+. Power steering is a GM power steering. All the underside is minus being a little dirty from, we're in Minnesota here, so I can't pressure wash it, but other than that, you can see there's nothing on the frame, there's nothing anywhere. Passenger side here. First of all, I want to point out that this is a 5-speed and H55 in here, so the old 4-speed was removed. The H55 with the newer style split case transfer case was put in. The seats were all redone. These are done by a local guy here. We ended up buying Jeep inserts here, material here, because I liked to have the rigid ability here so that they'll wear better. They're also put seat heaters in here, and we did that. So heat seaters are all hooked up, one for each side. Here you have your ARB controllers, air conditioning, which I failed to mention when we are under the hood, but air conditioning, that's controlled up here. That is a cool cruiser's unit. All your switches up here, pull for warm, pull for fan, everything works. Window wipers work. Obviously the choke is not hooked up because we got fuel injected, but your heater here, four-wheel drive. Here's the auxiliary switches that are all part of the other electronic stuff here. So your seat heaters, one for each side. Music, it will turn on. I have all these hooked up so the truck doesn't have to be on to do that. front light, back light, music, and this is my auxiliary port. So if I want to keep these ports hot, there's also more throughout the truck that this will turn on, and so then you can charge your devices, run anything you want, but the truck doesn't have to be on. That was my theory behind that. So Toffee Center console with the radio in there. All your goodies can go in there. You can see this is the aftermarket mat that was remanufactured. It's a super high quality piece, stupid expensive, but it's worth every nickel. You can see that the underside, everything is clean and nice. It is not old and chunky. We'll open up the back here so you can see that. Both of these swing out. Doors open like they should. We have a mat back here too, just for protection, but you can see it's not hiding anything. Everything's nice and new. These seats were not recovered. There's a one little thing here. If you know anything, you can jump online and buy those things pretty cheap. It was one of those last things that I never got to, and I was always going to get to it, and I never did. So headliner's just okay. That was from the original guy that rebuilt it. He did it. There's a few creases here. It's not falling down or anything like that. It's certainly presentable. It's just not brand new. There's a few bumps and scrapes on it on the outside here. I want to point that out. This is from the guy that did the original build here. You can see there's a dent right here, and that's it's not paint, it's not broken through, but it is a dent. And it did pop this window out. It didn't break. Put that back in. And that same deal, this happened here. Basically what he did is he was next to a pile of logs that had been logged, and he hit a stump, and it turned him over, and it just kind of leaned it against that log pile. He was too close to it. So that's really about it. The rest are just some minor scrapes from running up against a few things here. The other thing I want to point out is the fenders. Both fenders had been replaced since the paint. Again, not by me. They are a little bit different shade. My wife tells me I'm the only one that really pays that much close of attention. And if you don't point it out, people don't know. There was a snorkel on this when I bought it. It's all set up. I just took the snorkel off because I don't like snorkels. So it's all pre-drilled for as far as snorkel if you want that. All the windows roll down as they should. You can see the driver's side is as clean as the passenger side. I put a subwoofer under here. It's not huge. It's just enough to have a little bit of bass, but not blow you away. I listen to country music, so it's good enough for me. We have all the gauges work. We do have a separate speedo and a separate water temperature gauge. And I said they all work. This temperature gauge is not hooked up. It was something with that engine that this water gauge was a lot better, so we hooked that up instead. I can't remember the exact details. When you do turn on this power button, I hooked up a voltage regulator right down here. So say you're outside of your vehicle, you could monitor your voltage so that you didn't run it too low if you were running something. The other thing I wanted to point out is I hooked up a dome light here. It's just kind of an inconspicuous little switch that if you pull out, you can see you have lots of lights that light up. It doesn't look too bright right now, but it definitely will be. It's definitely bright in the dark. Kick panel speakers on both sides, and then you saw some 6x9s in the back with the sub. It's all I need for music. The dash you can see is cracked. I have a brand new one in a box. If you know anything about trucks, you got to take the roof off to put the window down, or the front glass down, to replace that. So that's the only reason that hasn't been done. Like I said, it's sitting in the box. So everything else, it sits in the heated garage. It's never driven in the wintertime, and it's never, since it's been rebuilt, it's never been out of that heated garage. I'll walk around one more time, put this hood back down for you. There is a rock chip in the glass right here. It's not in my way, and I just haven't fixed it. It's That glass is pretty cheap. This is the OEM glass. It has the stamp on it, so it's kind of one of the reasons I haven't replaced it. Is it's just kind of nice to have the original glass. The windows are tinted. That was from the previous owner. I was going to remove those, just haven't done it yet either. This cooler holder, it's technically made for jerry cans. I've never used jerry cans in there. I just put a cooler in there. It seems like it works for me, fills up the spot. I use the cooler probably more.